Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's Jimmy. Super pumped you're here. We're here June 23rd. It is the summer. Got to be loving it. Summertime, rocking and rolling, having a lot of fun, doing a lot of cool things. But remember, summer is for building. So it's a real good time to be looking at what's happening in your life and what can you build that can create some energy for you, can really make a difference in your life. And we're doing ILD, we're getting into that. I'm putting more videos up. If you get a chance, go up there and check them out. We keep putting those areas together. Kari is looking at the discussions, the comments, what are thoughts that you have, so that we can get that back and build that more for you. If there's a specific area, spit it out that you want to work on. Remember, as always here, it's about the morning ritual. Take time for self-care. Listen to Coach Cass. Get here, get this energy. Organize your day with the planner and the plans that we're doing. And then get your day planned with that perspective and the priorities. Understanding, how do we get our priorities? Well, we look at our mission, we look at our vision, and we base it off of that, and that gives us a structure. I will tell you, the cat's kind of out of the bag. I've been building a complete new system for the companion. Last year's was okay. This one's 100 times better. We'll be going into beta. You'll be hearing me talking about it in the weekly updates. Basically, the way the system works is to give you the best probability of success on a daily basis, using about 6 tools all coming together. It's going to be in beta. So there's a few of you I have asked to, kind of work with it. But basically, with MorningCoach.io, the tool that we're building, organizations, individuals are going to be able to use it. It'll help, first of all, through some questioning, put together a mission and vision. You can also input your own. Then it'll analyze and give you the best probability of success and what those goals should be using our Sacred Six process as we've trained it. And then those goals will then be, okay, these are the top goals to hit the mission and vision. That'll be broken down into projects and then into tasks, and then it'll give you a daily feedback of this is what you should be doing to have the best probability of success. There's no guarantees, obviously, in any of this, but it really helps. Like it's helped me qualify for Boston. My races, I'm winning all over. I'm using it in my business, in my life, and it's just life-changing. I think this is the way you can connect, right? So it's really great. If you're interested in the beta, just let me know. Again, we're really rocking it. I'm excited about it, and you'll hear more about that. It's same thing, the discussion area with Kari. She's doing a great job as communication manager. More emails are going out. More discussions are going on. If you need anything, just let us know. I know it's the summer. Summer's for building. People are doing things, but it's important that we are growing and bringing wonderful tools. There's nothing like this going to be. There's nothing right now like it, but really we're going to be expanding it with software and technology. So not only do we have the coaching going hand in hand with the ability to give you the best probability of success in your life, you and organizationally, I'm really excited about where we're going and how this is all manifesting as I've put 20 years into this. And so we're getting more and more success. We're having people have more and more success, and we're creating these simple to use tools that can help you really understand what you need to be working on and then apply the energy, the motivation to do it and live your best life. It's exciting stuff. And speaking with that, we're doing ILD this week, and we've been doing it this month. And really, ILD is about career, entrepreneurship, residual income, passive income, and freedom. And today's title is about, being the expert really equals freedom. And that's what I want to go through this week. And today, we're going to start it off by talking about what the expert is. And then we're going to talk about, obviously our book study, Designing Your Life, and using these tools and things that we put together to live this wonderful life. Believe me, it's not wonderful every day. I just want to preface that. It's okay to have some down days, but we want to give you the best shot, right? Time is the most valuable currency. We're going to give you the best shot to live this life. And then Wednesday, we're going to talk about building some and showing expertise. Again, whether your career, whether you're building an entrepreneurial business, whether you're looking to live a life of freedom, expertise is a great way to go. If you've watched ILD video on entertainer versus expertise, it will really help you understand that. Okay, and we'll talk about that Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to talk about learning the language. You heard me talk that a lot. We're going to talk more in depth about what that really means. On Friday, we're going to talk about your personal IP. Again, another area that we're going into depth a little bit, but it's important to understand intellectual property and your IP and what that is, especially with the times that are changing. Then obviously Dr. Paul has been doing longevity, bringing us great ideas and tips. And then Sunday, we're going to talk about meditation and awareness, step back a little bit, and some spirituality, some faith-based ideas on Sunday to kind of just bring it back around. But it's a big week. And like I said, we're doing a lot of things. My expertise, if you think of what I do, is it comes from a coaching background into inspiration, motivation, and then putting tools to help people succeed. The number one thing that that I have seen in 20 years is that people don't take action, right? They don't know what the next steps are. And that's why we're building systems and tools to help you do that. Because I see so many people that have just wonderful expertise, so much knowledge, and they're not able to either bring it to market or they're not able to utilize that knowledge to build a great life. And the reason is they're just not executing. It's one thing to get education. Very smart people, and believe me, if you're listening to this, you're very smart. One of the things we do is a lot of times we get education and we don't take action. And that's a problem. But if you don't know what action to take and you fail and you fail and you fail, I get it. And that's one of the reasons I'm building IO, because it's like, hey, it's nice to take a picture. It's nice to get some feedback. But what if we really dove into you, understood you, and were able to give you the best probability of success? Now you're on a path. It's going to get you to take action. What I'm trying to do is get you to take action. And that's what it's about. The more action we take, the more we learn, the quicker we'll get there. So, fresh week here at Morning Coach, and we're working, all in on intelligent life design, using your intellect to design your life. And we want to really think about knowing what your expert is, what you're an expert of. When I first launched Morning Coach, it wasn't with this grand strategy. I was, with solving a problem. I could solve a better problem than most and start their mornings with power and purpose. Morning Coach just worked. It was like, hey, people need direction, right? They need some energy. I needed it. So I didn't have big funding or big marketing, but I had repetition results and, a well of experience. And that's expertise, right? It's that ability to really dive into something and then really create that expertise. And it's what's unlocked my freedom. I didn't need to be famous. I just needed to be useful. And, I got a book upstairs. Write books that are useful, right? Solve people's problems. And if you can do that, you'll be successful. But it was, what if I don't know what to solve? Well, we got to step back and then look at you and go, what is the expertise? What are you an expert of? What can you solve problems? A lot of times when I work with personal clients, I'll ask them, what do you do? If somebody's up at 3 a.m. having 3 glasses of wine, and they're thinking about something, can you solve their problem? What is the layer of problem that you solve? So being an expert is, the number one thing is, the first thing we got to step back and realize we're all experts. This isn't about degrees. I want to make this point. When I did my MBA and my PhD, they were crutches for me, okay? The reason I did those is because I thought I needed them to be successful. It's just like the old thing when I love Zig Ziglar, and I used to think, well, I won't be successful till I have gray hair. These are just bad beliefs. Expertise is not about degrees. Can it be? Possibly. Can it be about certification and legalization? A lot of that has to do with the business model. The reason doctors don't want you prescribing medicine, or they don't want you to, want you out there working with other people. The reason there's legality is, one, yeah, there is some control there and they want to keep it controlled. But number two is because it's a business. Right? So lawyers, doctors, is there a level of expertise? Yes, they understand common law. They understand medical practices, but at the end of the day, it's just a regulated thing. I would put my knowledge up right now about health to almost any doctor, right? Now, if you're talking surgery, that's totally different. Talking open heart surgery or whatever, but overall health, I'm healthier than 99% of the doctors out there. I'm 6.5 years, almost 7 years younger than my age biologically. I'm willing to put myself out there against anybody, right? And the first thing you're going to do is I want to see your blood work, and then I want to see you compete with me. And that's not egoic or narcissistic. That's just, I want the proof that you're an expert. Okay, the proof is in the results. And I can tell you at 56 years old, I'm in better shape than 90%, I would be almost 99% of 56-year-olds. Why? Because I've studied it, I've learned it, I've researched it, I understand it. Am I a doctor? No. But if I needed a bone set, would I do it myself? No, I go to a doctor, right? Because they're an expert at that specific thing. But at general health, I'm always up in the air on it. So my point that I'm saying is just because somebody went to school doesn't make them an expert, okay? So it's important to understand that when you're looking at people you're working with. That's not what today's about. But the reason I tell you that is because sometimes we feel that we need a degree, we need licensing, we need something that determines us as an expert. No, what you need to do is solve problems, okay? And really, that's the key. AI is flooding the world with information right now. Okay, so what we don't need is a know-it-all. What we need is somebody that can really help people. And how do you do that? You cut through with lived experience, presence, and personality. That's what makes a big difference. We need to keep that human empathy. And expertise creates freedom. Freedom isn't just money, it's options. Experts earn more, delegate more, and stress less. Why? Because they have a generalized knowledge that then becomes an expertise knowledge that is more valuable. And obviously, some knowledge is more valuable than others. Some ability to help others is more important than others. So understanding that we're in a do month, right? So I want you to be thinking about with your mission and vision, what do you solve with clarity and conviction? What have other people told you you're good at? I guarantee there's things that you're good at that nobody else is. I know you're going to say, no, it's not true. But yes, there are things. I remember Alona. I was just thinking about my old company I used to run 25 years ago. And Alona was this wonderful person that could type faster. She was like a world typing champion in high school. I used to celebrate that. And you'd say, well, what good does that expertise do? Well, anytime I needed a purchase order done quickly, I would run into Alona. Alona, put this in the computer real quick. She'd get it done. And that little bit of expertise as her boss and as the manager put her in a higher light because she was an expert in that area, right? And so understanding maybe you have some technique or some skill that's a little different than everybody else and you don't realize that could really put you ahead because you do things a little bit different than everybody else. Who with your team, who supports or complements your strengths? What do you have to help you in there? Communication, this is our table, right? How are you sharing your expertise message? And that's a big part of this. It's a big part of ILD. As we get into it, I taught in there about on list, off list, and the importance. And most people just don't grasp that. They don't realize that you can do this stuff if you just go slow, okay? And you get it together, it will change your life. And then a commitment to improvement is to stay in growth mode, never plateau. Are you constantly learning? So when it comes to health, which is an area that I'm not now an expert, but I'm not a doctor, right? Don't play one, but I live it. I live it day in and day out. And that's what really brings expertise is when you're living it. So use AI to amplify, not replace. One of the big things we're using it for is to analyze data. You just don't have the ability to analyze data. It does have a bad memory. And so we've got to keep that data somewhere where we can keep it, where it can review it and look at it quicker than any human being can, and then be able to give us the best options. That's where we're using AI. So use it to amplify, not replace, right? And you can get out there and speak, write, coach, podcast, be seen doing what you do best. When you get out there, you start to build a name, and you build your name around your lane. Right? And that's what we do. We go out there. You don't have to be a superstar. Look, I am not good at social media. I'll be the first person to admit it. I'm not good at it. I'm terrible at YouTube. I'm not consistent. I don't even know if I want to do it anymore. Right? That's not my stuff. But enough people know me through my books and through my writing and the things that I do. That's how I connect. And that's one of the big things for me. You'll hear me scream about this. For the last couple of years, you've been hearing me scream about writing. And I just haven't been doing a good job. And there's okay with that. That's okay. The world isn't perfect, but I know that's one of my mediums, right? And I need to do more of it. I got to get Soper Weekends done. I've been sitting on that project forever. But it's not one of the things that moves the needle with my mission. That's part of the problem, right? I've got to get my mission accomplished. We got to bring 800 people in. I've got to get the structure of AIO done, and then I can go. My vision's already in place. It's working well. My mission, I've got to stay focused on it and see how it can slide a little bit. So maybe your mission is to, do some particular thing, and maybe your vision is to expand your expertise. I'm cool with that, right? So as you start using some of the new tools we've brought together, when you look at that, let's look deeper at your vision and make sure you're building your expertise in a particular area. So your challenge today is to write one sentence that defines the problem you solve and share it with someone this week. What problem do you solve? One of the things that I'll talk, with our international inner circle, and I constantly bring this up, is that we are problem solvers. That's really what it is. Business is very simple. Business is an exchange of funds. You're solving problems or entertaining, right, and getting revenue for it. Somebody's giving you dollars for that solution and for that. That's what you got to think about. So what problem do you define? Write one sentence down. And then understand freedom follows focus, and focus comes from knowing your lane. What are you an expert in? We talk about niche or niche and a lot. And if you get with me and, we get into your life, I'll talk about what do you do? Who are you working with? And a lot of people are like, I work with everybody. That doesn't work. The more niche you can be, the better off you're going to be. Okay? Your journal prompt today is, what skill or area do I know deeply, and how can I show up as an expert in it this week? Really important. Success comes from knowing your craft and being known for it. That's one of my quotes. Success comes from knowing your craft and being known for it. So let's keep rolling. Let's keep working down this ILD area. And again, this isn't something you have to drop everything from. Our objective here is to give you things to think about so you can shape your mission and vision, organize your plan, and execute on it. It's very simple because the system works that way. And then we can have these big dreams. We can manifest. We get the spiritual side. We can do all the wonderful, fun stuff, study Melchizedek, all the cool stuff we're studying. But we got to get you on that right path where you wake up, you have that energy, and you can take on the day. And we do that as we become more of an expert. You are an expert. It's just a matter of how do we get you out there? How do we get that moving so we can build a life around it? And that's what we're going to get into tomorrow. We're going to close out the book, Designing Your Life. We'll have fun with that. But let's go do it to it. I love you bunches. Go have a great start of the week, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow on MorningCoach.com.